see that the coursework here is way more flexible than what we have in India. In India, at least from where I did my undergrad, it was like fixed courses which I have to take every semester. And even like if I want to be in a particular domain or I don't want, I have to take those courses. But here there are multiple flexibilities. You can do researches, you can take part in labs, you can drop a semester, not study, you can just focus on research work. Then you can take up some courses next semester, only take courses which you want. So yeah, in this industry, the average pay is around 80 to 100 $100,000 in a year.
In today's video, we have Samudra as our guest. He is currently pursuing his MS from the US and also he has interned at Texas Instruments previously. We discussed a lot of things like the process of admission in the US and what are the expenses of studying abroad. So if you want more content like this, then don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button. So let's start our discussion with Samudra. Hi everyone. So welcome to my channel. We have today a new guest, that is Samudra with us. He has interned at TI and he is currently pursuing his MS from University of Florida. So yeah, Samudra, so please introduce yourself and like what you're doing and stuff.
Yeah, sure. Hi, Anish. So I first of all thank you for this opportunity that you provided. I was really looking forward to like sharing my experience because, as you know, that in the recent scenarios, there are many students who have been traveling from India and other countries to the US for their higher studies. So yeah, this is a great opportunity for me to be able to do so. So, okay, a brief background about myself. I am born and brought up in West Bengal, very near to Calcutta. I did my schooling from my hometown, which is Chandannagar. I mean, it is. I did my schooling from Don Bosco, Bandel, actually, and then I went for my undergrad to KIT University, that is Kalinga Institute of Industrial Technology, which is at Bhubaneswar, Odisha. That gave me a very good fundamental knowledge. I mean, the faculties were great there, and that helped me land a job where I always like wanted to work, which is at Bosch. So Bosch now is like they have changed the name to Bosch Global Software and Technology. So I was working there for around 3 years. It was from 2019 to 2022. So yeah, I joined in Bangalore. Then I was working the majority of times in at Rohtak, which is in Haryana, because I was working at the customer location. Then I decided to like the work was great. It was very nice. The work culture was very nice, but I just wanted to shift my domain to more towards like pure semiconductor and like transistor level design, etc. So yes, that made me decide to pursue my master's. Then after that, there was research for like which colleges to apply for and everything. So all this journey I will be explaining more as we move ahead, go ahead with our discussion. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So, like, when you decided to go for higher studies, so was like only US was in mind, or like you thought about like getting admission in IITs also here in India also, or
Yeah, so there comes the point. Like a few of our friends did that. Okay, so as soon as I started my work 2019, I got like deputed to the customer location, and there the work pressure was very heavy because they had no leaves or nothing, almost like that. So we had to work during and as you remember, like in 2020 the COVID scenario started.
yeah.
So all the work locations, I mean office corporates were closed, but we were working even that time. We didn't have any leave. So in those tough working conditions, I felt that it was difficult for me to prepare for GATE to a level in which I can like get into IITs. And like I personally feel that for my masters, if I and especially since I wanted to focus in the semiconductor industry, for my masters, I felt that if I do not reach up to the level of IITs, then I would not be satisfied with the results. So then I decided to take up the challenge of like going for MS in the MS. So for that, I had to give my like GRE exam and the TOEFL exams, which for about which I'll be explaining sometime soon. And yeah, and I wanted to go to the US specifically because I feel that for semiconductor, US is still, even in today's market scenario, it is still the best place to go.
Okay, yeah, that's like a very like good understanding of things like what you did. So like when you decided, yeah, I want to go to the US, so you just instantaneously started preparing for GRE and TOEFL, or like you started researching for the colleges also, like what are the colleges there and things, or you just started preparing
Okay.
for GRE?
So for me, I personally wanted to give quite an amount of time for the GRE and TOEFL preparations, especially GRE, because like I had.
Yeah. Can you just explain in short, like what is like what is GRE and what is TOEFL, like what are the
Oh
like
yeah,
patterns
yeah,
and stuff?
yeah, for sure. Sorry, my bad. So
So,
yeah,
so for like getting admission in US college, you have to clear these two examinations. That is the first thing, right?
yeah. So for getting admissions in the US or even in Europe, I would suggest you have to give the GRE exams. Exam for your quantitative and English and writing skills to be tested. And for only your English skills, you have to appear for either the TOEFL or the IELTS exams. So generally, it is said that for America, you should you should go towards TOEFL because that is much more accepted in many of the colleges. But now both have the equal weightage because many of my classmates gave both the exams, TOEFL or IELTS. So you can go for both of them.
Level is same or like it's different, like the difficulty level?
I cannot comment on how is IELTS, but TOEFL, like if you know the basics of English, and they are pretty good. Okay, the conducting company is ETS, so they have few tests for practice, like practice exams. So for TOEFL, if you just give those to a few exams, it's good to go. IELTS, I cannot comment unfortunately because I have not prepared like even a bit for IELTS.
Okay, okay.
But
Thank you.
generally, as I hear, that both have their plus and minus. So yeah,
Okay, so almost I think they will be similar only if colleges
yeah,
have.
yeah, they have to be
And
similar.
for yeah, so for GRE, so how much like these two exams, how much time did it take you to prepare and stuff, or did you take any other coaching, or you just self study and
Yeah,
prepared for?
so many of my friends did take coaching, but I did not take coaching because I was parallelly working also. So the only time I could take out from after work was the time I could give towards the GRE preparation. So I gave the GRE exam in September, and I started preparing in I gave in August end, and I started preparing like in May mid or May end, something like that.
Okay, so
Towards
you prepared like through YouTube or like books or some, like what
yeah,
resources
no.
did you follow?
So I went through a couple of YouTube videos to see like which are the resources to prepare from. I talked to my friends, so I like one of my friends gave me a very useful Google Drive link. So as and after researching everything, I found out that there is one book which is by Manhattan Prep, the 5 pounds book. So that book is very good. If you, I mean, that is the to-go book you should have if you're preparing for GRE, especially for your quants. And for the English, yeah, there are multiple facets that you need to keep in mind if you're preparing for English, because GRE English is tough and that is
Okay,
famous. GRE English
okay,
is famous for being tough. It is like just for a brief insight that it is said that the CAT exams quants and the GRE exam English are of like similar level. So yes, like even I am from a convent background, like English medium schools, etc. But the level of grammar you need to face in the GRE exam, that is. I mean,
okay,
you have to
okay.
get used to it. You cannot like okay, I know English. I will just go get down with it. I mean, at least I couldn't. So I
Like you
would
have
say
to learn the grammar and stuff from
yeah,
basics.
I mean, there are few books like Barron's English grammar, and then you have to go through. You have to learn many words, very many new words which you need to learn and you need to apply in
So is
sentence.
it like a MCQ type, right? GRE is a MCQ type
It is
examination.
completely MCQ except one part, which is the writing part. So there you have
Okay.
to write like I guess two or three essay kinds of like short essays kinds of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I need to like if I just explain the GRE format, so the GRE has like four parts you can have. The first you will be having the analytical writing part. So there you have like three or four, I forgot, like three or four essays, short essays which you need to write on specific topics. And then you have the quants. You will have like alternate quants and English, and in the English part itself you have the logical reasoning parts sections too. So yes, you basically have like four sections. While you give the exam, you will be getting the scores of your quants and English then and there, like unofficial scores. And for the analytical writing scores, you will get it after a week or so when ETS like publishes your result officially.
Okay. So how is the like you gave the exam and the marks you got? So how like different colleges will have cutoffs, or it will depend on how many students apply for that, and they will compare the GRE marks, or how is it like?
Okay.
How is the process
So,
basically?
technically speaking, there is no cutoff as such for
Okay.
the universities. Like there is no official cutoff, but still, it is generally considered that you should try to. Okay, so if you're now comes like if you're applying for engineering courses or if you're applying for arts, like arts and media, those kinds of courses for the masters. So if you're going for engineering courses or even like data analytics and all that those kinds of courses, so your focus, I mean, the university will focus more on your quant score, and for the other courses which is not engineering based, they will focus more on an English course. But these all are again unofficial informations. There is no official anything from the sites. But like as you do your research, you will get to know these things.
So as you said, you gave your examination, and then like you got the marks after 1 week, I think. So after that, the process of applying for colleges start, right? After that, or
Yes. So, okay, there is like I will give a very good time frame, which I think most people follow and they suggest. Like I have seen like for multiple other GRE prep videos and all also. So they have also suggested, and I also felt that should be good that do not spend time on searching for universities before giving your GRE exam. I would suggest not to do that because researching and searching your universities will take up a considerable amount of time, which you cannot give when you have your GRE yet to be given. Because if you do not have your GRE score, you cannot apply, even if you have done your research. And you have to get done with your GRE quite early so that for your application, you need like 4 to 5 items. Only when you have those, you can start applying. So one of them is GRE, your GRE official test score. One of them is your TOEFL or English proficiency, maybe TOEFL or IELTS scorecard. You will have to write an essay, which is a statement of purpose, which I'll be mentioning more about
yeah.
later. You will have to have your letters of recommendations, which again about which I'll be saying more. And yeah, and your official transcripts from your universities, you need to have those. Either you get it like you order it from your universities, or however you need to have the official stamp, not the unofficial transcripts. So you need to have these 5 items before you start
Like
applying.
transcripts, by transcripts you mean the like degrees and stuff.
Yeah, your grade sheet, your
Grades.
full
Okay.
undergrad grade sheet. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so these are the things that you need. Like obviously, I also agree with that. Obviously, you give the GRE, then you know what your score is, and according to that, you can only apply in few universities. Else,
Yes.
like it's like IITs only. Like if you have grades for something like this, then only you will get chance in this IIT or not. And
Yeah.
like it's there also is similar. But I think it's a holistic approach there. I think they also take care of your other things also, which will come to later. I think, or like
Yes.
GRE is more important.
Yeah, so okay, in that aspect, there is like again, there are no official information that we get. How the admission committee works, only they know. It's admission.
Yeah.
I mean, these informations are very strict here. Like I as of now, or even I have heard from other YouTubers or something, other places, no one knows like how the admissions committee work.
Okay.
But in general, they see your holistic profile, not just your marks. But if you do not have a good technical background, then your GRE plays one of the main parts for sure. And also, if you're applying for like very top tier colleges, then they do have a GRE cutoff. Like unofficially, you can get to know, and if you research, you will get to know. Like, for example, like the Ivy Leagues, maybe University of Pennsylvania or something like that, yeah, Princeton or anything, Harvard's, all those universities. GRE, at least they expect maybe it's out of 340 the total exam. They will at least expect above 3 335 337 at least. 340 should
top
be.
colleges. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Overall
then
marks is 340.
yeah, they will almost expect you to get a full score.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's like
at
too good.
least
Yeah.
if you're applying for your engineering courses, your quant score should be okay. Your each section is out of 170, so your quant score should be 170 should be, yeah,
Okay.
165
It's very
plus.
good. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's these are like unofficial. So this goes for the Ivy League colleges. I mean the top private colleges, and also for many of the top public colleges like University of California, Berkeley, LA, all these universities. Yeah.
So like so you got your GRE, then you started like I think then you started researching for colleges and then you applied in like whatever according to your score. So did you apply in Ivy Leagues or you just applied in like whatever
Yeah.
colleges?
So, so yes. So, I will. So the time frame which I followed and which helped me was I started preparation from May for my GRE. Then I gave like 3 months to it, and in that 3 months, of course, I also parallelly worked on my statement of purpose. I will explain what is that, but yeah, you need time for the statement of purpose. Okay, then I appeared for the exam on in September. In September, August end or September, something like that. I forgot the date, and unfortunately, I guess September 5th or something.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, so and yes, you need to book your dates for your GRE exams. You cannot like, okay, today I feel that I want to give the GRE, tomorrow I will give the GRE. You cannot do that. You need to book your dates for the like there will be GRE centers, different centers which conduct the GRE. Not you cannot like give it from your home, but I guess now after the COVID scenario, they have a take home option. But again, for that also you need like dates. You cannot give GRE every day.
Like dates you need to like apply 1 2 months or 3 months before like
Yeah.
right?
You, I mean, generally the nearby dates are booked. You will see, so
So
you
it
can.
happens like multiple times in a year.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
like
yeah.
it happens
Yeah, you can give it like it's not like okay like the CAT exams or something that you
like
have.
gate like cat also happens I think multiple times now
Oh, I
or
guess
like
in
it's not
GATE then they have only
no
once.
gate is once only.
Yeah,
Gate is
yeah.
once. Cat is also I think yeah once. So like this is not like that. You can apply like happens multiple times and you can apply.
Yes, you can do that.
But
So
okay, so yeah, you're talking about your time frame. So after
yes,
you gave your exam, yeah.
yes. So in September beginning, I gave the exams, and then I gave like within a week and a half, I gave my TOEFL exams also. That is a good enough time for preparing for your TOEFL or IELTS exams. And in the meantime, what I did, I requested my university to send me the official transcripts, and also I kept working on my statement of purpose, and I kept talking to my professors for the letter of recommendations. And once you have all these, you should definitely try to have all these by mid September, because after that you should start with your applications, because generally what is followed here, like there are different phases of applications, like the first round, the second round, third round of applications, like this happens here. So the first round generally starts in October or something like that. Oh,
So it's
sorry.
for the all of the colleges, right? Like, all
Yeah,
of the colleges.
this is for everyone. Most of, I mean, they have maybe one or few dates up and down, something like that. But
Okay.
generally, this is the trend. So first round starts, I guess, from August or something, July and August, You can try to apply for that, but it's okay. You do not need to worry about that one. But you should definitely apply in the second round, which starts from around October. So yes, by October 1st, you should be ready with all the documents and your research for
So,
which.
if someone applies in the first round, so is it like advantage for him that he got the seat or something, or it's like nothing related to that?
Uh, mm, it
Like, it's
again
is it
that
first come first serve, like something like
no,
that? Because
no, it is not that. But initially, it is like it is said that you have more chances to get your admission admits because there will be more seats available at that time. And as you go towards the end, they like reduce the amount of intakes. But again, it's not that if you do not have that good of a profile, but you are applying in the first round, so you will definitely get it. No, it's absolutely not that.
like
Yeah.
what I wanted to ask is like the first round and the second round, they are different. Like the people they the first round, the person who got admitted first round and the person who got admitted second round, will they study together, or like it's a different batch altogether?
Absolutely. No, no, absolutely. Just the admission processes are done in different rounds. Otherwise,
Okay.
they have the equal opportunity for
So,
the.
like in the first round, they total university has seat, I think 150. Let's say for example, then first round they took up 30 students. So now only 120 seats are remaining. Is it
Yeah.
something like
So
that,
as
or?
you go towards the last and like the later rounds, you have lesser and lesser number of seats.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So generally, you should try. Generally, the colleges have the for masters. I'm saying for MS in engineering courses. I'm saying they generally have the deadlines of around 5th December or 10th December, something like that. So at least by the beginning of December, you should be complete with all your applications. Because what happens, they might get back to you for some rectifications or something. So you should definitely give time for that.
Okay. Okay. So what happened to you? Like, when did you apply? Second round, or like
I
the
applied
first
in
round?
the second round, which started in the beginning of October. I did my first application at first or 2nd of October. Yeah.
So you applied for how many universities?
Yeah. So yeah, again, then comes the number of colleges. So you can apply for as many colleges you want, but there are different. As you will, of course, you will do your research once you when you are going to apply. So you will see that there are different um, categories of colleges that you will come across. One is like ambitious, one is moderate, and one will be safe. So, as per your profile, you need to judge that which colleges would be ambitious for you, which would be moderate for you, and which would be safe for you. So that's what like I did apply for quite a number of universities. Um, so again, my GRE score was okay, but it was not
Like,
that.
you should apply according to your GRE score only. Is it like,
Yeah,
or
you need to take your judgment based on
okay,
like yeah.
you have to like understand yourself how good you are or something, then
Yeah,
you apply for that particular
yeah,
college.
your GRE
I
score,
think
your background, your
background.
undergrad scores, everything, how much extracurriculars, like what research work you have done. You need to judge yourself and you need to apply. So ambitious colleges are the ones that which you think, okay, this is my dream college, and I might get into. Maybe there is like 10% chance of me getting into or something. Those are the ambitious universities which you apply.
Okay.
And generally, it is said that you apply like 2 to 3 universities in the ambitious range. In medium, you are like, okay, maybe you have around 30 to 40% chance of getting in. You might get in, of course, but yeah, there are like slightly heavier on the not getting inside. So you can keep like around again 2 to 3 universities in that. Ambitious should be like two should be good enough for your ambitious
Yeah, one
universities.
to two. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 to 3 for your media, I mean, moderate ones. And the safe ones are the ones you should keep more in number, maybe 3 to 4 for your safe universities where you know that, okay, fine, I will definitely get into these. So, yeah, that's how you should keep the numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, what about you? What did you do? Like,
Yeah, I applied for total of 10 universities, and yeah, I made a mistake. I made probably I applied a bit too much on the moderate and the ambitious sides because I simply just wanted to apply because I didn't want to leave no stones unturned.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that okay, fine, let me just apply. But yeah, one issue is that you will have to pay your application fees for all, each of those.
I heard that actually, like it's very costly. I think the application.
Yeah, yeah, each application is very costly. So, for the 10 universities I applied to, I total just for my applications, I had to spend like around 80 to 85,000 just for the application.
Okay, okay, like almost around 1 lakh of
Yeah,
rupees.
and each university has their own application fees. So, like generally, I had seen, and yeah, I did not apply for any private universities. I applied for only the public. So the difference between the public and the private universities are that private universities are not government aided; they are run by like private groups, and the public ones are the ones which are like state financed or like government financed. So the difference in the cost is that private universities are pretty costly, but they are mostly the top tier universities come on the private universities like MIT, Harvard, Stanford, Princeton, University of Pennsylvania, all of these they come in the private, and in public you have the generally in the private public universities you will have the name of the states for like University of California, University of Florida, then Purdue, University of Virginia, something like that. These all are publics. Even in publics, the colleges like University of California at Berkeley, at Los Angeles, these all are almost they have very high and very similar costings like the private universities,
Okay, okay.
and even their rankings are very similar to the private universities. Yeah.
Okay, so like, and what about like difference between like uh, the academics and stuff? So the costing is one thing that differentiates between this public and private. Any other thing that may differentiate? Like,
If you can join the top tier, like at least 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 of the public universities, they will have very similar coursework
okay,
and everything like the private
okay,
universities. But of course, the private universities have a lot of funding and etc. I mean,
like better facilities. I think they will have better lab.
yeah, yeah. But again, there comes the top tier public universities which have very similar facilities and everything. So yeah, you cannot like generally, if you there are like lower tier private universities also, and there are lower tier public universities also. So yeah, the top tier ones in both the cases are good enough. Like
Good
they're,
enough. Yeah.
but
Okay.
of course, you should not try to compare MIT or Harvard with University of California or something like that. But yeah, I guess in the recent US rankings, University of California at Berkeley, I guess it is a top public university now, and I guess it has beaten many of the top tier private universities. In overall, I guess it is third or in the top five, like even above Princeton and all. I guess, yeah.
So like then like we are talking about you like you applied in almost any universities. Then I think you got back from some of the universities and you
Yeah,
like
I got a majority of them were rejects, and I'm telling you this that I mean whoever is applying, be ready to receive the rejects. If you get like okay, if you're applying for like mostly safe universities, then of course you should get the admits. But if you're like inclined more towards moderate and those the ambitious ones, be ready to receive the rejects. I got like 3 admits out of the 10, and even like one of them were waitlist and all. But yeah, ultimately it's like 3 admits out of the 10. So yes, that is kind of said that it is a good conversion rate.
yeah,
So
30% I think is a good conversion. I don't think.
yeah, so
Yeah,
be ready to receive the rejects. Don't get like disheartened.
demotivated and stuff. Like yeah. So then you
Always,
got three.
always have a good judgment in application. You don't just stick with the moderate and the ambitious ones and leave out the
Yeah,
safe.
yeah, yeah. You got to have the research done, like
Yeah.
which according to you, you have to judge for yourself, like how good you
Yes,
are and
and
stuff,
the
all that
research
goes.
takes time. It takes
Time. It
time,
takes
a
time.
lot of time. It has to
So
be
how did you do
extensive.
the research basically? So did you like only browse through YouTube or like you? I think many people also take consultancy or stuff like that.
Yes, yeah.
Or
Many people take consultancies, but yeah, then I would suggest like the consultancies. Uh, I would say that try to do it yourself, because what the consultancies many times they do is that, okay, what they need is they need to have their good names, right? So they will
yeah,
only mostly try to suggest you the safe ones, which you will definitely get into, and they will brag about it that, okay, our candidate gets got in, applied in 10, got in 8 or something like that. So
yeah, okay,
that is one of the reasons you should not go for consultancies. But and like for you, if you do it yourself, I did it myself. You can, you do not go into those caveats. You just apply yourself, whichever you feel right, which you
yeah.
want. Yes, yeah,
Like
that is, and
I've
they
also
charge
heard
a lot.
about it.
And they have
Yeah,
charged, they
this
charge
yeah,
a lot. My goodness, they charge in lakhs, I guess, for these whole
yeah.
process.
Like I also heard that you should do it for yourself. Like you just research yourself and which you are suitable for, then you apply. Like
Yes.
that is what
For
I have
the
also.
for the research, you first of all you need to have a clear idea as to what you want to do, because
Okay.
MS or M.tech even it is not like your undergrad. It's very different from that. Like honestly speaking, people who do masters, they are pretty much focused on what they want to do. So you need to be clear about that. You need to be clear that which industry you want to be, if you want to be in the industry, or which research area you want to be. And then you need to search that, okay, which colleges are doing this research. There are labs in different colleges. Which colleges are funding for these kinds of research, where in which colleges there are good professors for these kinds of subjects, and which professors are doing the research currently. So research is one of the main factors which you need to see while shortlisting your universities. Once you are done with that, then you need to go for there is something known as ROI, which is return on investment. So we are international students, right? So it is, from the expense point of view, it is quite a big amount, and you should definitely see for the return on investment, like how much you can get out of that university compared to how much you're investing. Like for example, if you're investing like 45 lakhs INR for the whole course and everything, stay and everything, rent, etc., and once you get a job from there, you can pay off that debt in around, say, 1.5 to 2 years. Then that is like a good return on investment. Like even if it is lesser, yeah. So basically, the lesser you spend, the more you get back. ROI is high. And but there are again the top tier universities where you spend a lot in crores, like 1.10 crores, 1.5 crores. But again, you will of course get back college, get back to industry like that in that standard. But generally, here the best thing is the industries, they do not differentiate you based on which college you're coming from. If your knowledge is good, and you perform well in the interview, even a person from Harvard or Berkeley will get into the same, same
Like
role
scale.
that
Role.
public lower tier person will get into. So yes, that is there.
Okay, so in general, like you told about the amount, like, so is that a ballpark amount that someone should have on mind if they want to come in US, like, or it can go up till 1 crore also, like,
Yeah. So the amount depends on uh, first of all the university. Secondly, I mean the fees. Secondly, the area you're staying. These two are the main factors which determine the total amount. So if you're staying in some areas like Florida, I mean not Miami, of course, Gainesville, or you're staying in Dallas, Texas, or you're staying in New Jersey or something like that, your staying expense is quite less compared to if you're staying in California side, or you're staying in like Baltimore side or something like that, Michigan, all those. So yeah, So these two factors are the main factors which contribute to the expense. So average, at least if you are getting into like a good college, you will at least 45 to 60 lakhs should be a good amount.
And like on an average, if you after that you get in job, it almost takes around 1.5 years to pay off that completely. Like
Yeah.
if someone takes a loan and stuff,
Yeah.
will all yeah.
Yeah. So technically, like the average, I can speak for my industry. I cannot speak for like CS and
No,
CS
no,
and
no. We want to hear on about your industry because like CS, there are a lot of people, but I think this industry doesn't have like too much
yeah.
of.
Yeah, that is also a factor. I will get into that later. So yeah, in this industry, the general average pay is around 80 to 100 $100,000 in a year. So in that you will get in hand if you're like
I just want to like pause you for a second. I think this meeting will end. We
oh, okay,
can
yeah, this is
again.
Zoom, right? It
Uh,
will end,
yeah.
correct.
So like the meeting got stopped due to like limitations of Zoom. So yeah, we are talking about the salaries of like people who are pursuing the MS in like electronics background. So yeah, let's continue with that.
Mhm. Yeah. So, like as I was saying, that if you can average out the expenditure at around like 45 to 50 or 60 lakhs, then the average salaries here in these kinds of fields is 80 to $100,000. And like if you are having, for example, $100,000 annual salary, and then you will get in hand around say 6,000 to 7,000, 5,000 to 6,000 to $7,000 in hand. So again, that depends on which state you are working in, because here the taxes are different for different states, and there are states where there are state taxes and federal taxes, and there are states where are only federal taxes and no state taxes. So for example, like Dallas, Florida, they have the federal taxes but there is no state tax. But places like California and New Boston, etc., they have like both of them. So yeah, so that depends on how much you will get in
Like
hand.
it also depends on the how much expensive it is. Like that also comes up, right? Like,
Yeah, of course, yeah. So yes, on an average, if you get like maybe $6,000 per month, so your annual in hand will be how much? Around
72,
72,
yeah.
72,000, and $72,000 means how much in INR? It will be around how much?
Like almost 1.5 CR or something.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, if you get that, then that is you can pay off like in around one year or something. But
But also you
worst
have
case,
expenses, right? Also have
yeah,
your
but
expenses on stuff.
yeah, you can put it to like 2 years should be good enough.
2 years
2 years
should be
should be.
done. Okay, so that we talked about. So like yeah, we were talking about the process. So you then like you applied and then you got three selects and then I think you chose something or you have to give interviews also after the getting selected after through your like application.
Yeah. So no, for masters, as far as I know, there is no interviews after you get your admits. But for MBA, there are the interview is one of the processes in the admission process. So yeah, which you don't have in your masters. So MBA, it's a whole different story. I have friends there, so I know a few things about that. It's a whole different application process. But in masters, you do not have any interviews
So
once you get that.
you just get the admit and that's it. Like the college is done. So then like
Yes,
it's your
yes,
decision that which one you choose, right?
exactly. Once you get the admit, your college part is done. Like one of the main process is done. But again, it is like I would say it's just half the way for your total process. So once you get the admit, for example, and you decide to go with that university, then you have to you have to accept. You will be given a certain time frame within which you have to accept or reject. Once you accept, they will start processing something known as the I-20. So I-20 is the document, it is the main document which affiliates you with a particular university. So it will have like everything, every details about you, um, how much amount you will be needing for sustaining like 1 year, and a rough estimation of that amount will be given in that I-20. And yes, every time you go to the US, you come back to India, go to US, everything, you will have to show your I-20 everywhere. So I-20 is the main document which you will need. And so yes, processing that I-20, also the university takes time to process that.
So that
So
is totally up to the university. It's not like you have to do anything or something.
no, I-20 processing is completely up to them.
You
Yes,
have you just have to give the information whatever they ask. I think.
exactly. And one more thing is, as far as I can remember, yes, they will give you the I-20, and then there will be an amount mentioned there, like an annual amount, roughly how much you might need. So that amount you need to have in your bank account during the time of your visa, I guess. Yes.
So, like, did you take any loans or you just went directly without any loans?
So I guess first of all, that there is something I'm missing out. Either like they will give you an unofficial. I guess it differs from university to university, but I guess they mail you an approximate amount which will be there in your I-20, and once you show that amount to them, they process your I-20, or they send you the I-20 with the amount, and you need to send them a verification as that okay, this amount I have. And how you should have that amount, like either way, you should have that amount in liquid form, like any form which you can encash at any time needed. So what they allow is they allow loan statements, they allow your savings, they will not allow stocks. But they will allow fixed assets, I guess, land or something. There are some
Okay.
specifications, but the best thing to go with is the loan statement and your savings. Savings, yes, yeah, you should have that. So what I did was I I was planning to go for the loan, like taking the my university. The charges in my I-20 were like $49,000, including everything. Okay, yeah. My university, I am doing my master's in the University of Florida, which is at Gainesville, and so my I-20 cost was 49,000 something dollars, and there were some rewards, like some merit awards, which on which using which it became like $45,000. So initially, I was planning to take the loan completely, but then I decided that okay, fine. Um, if you have the affordability, then I would suggest that don't go with the loan completely, because what happens, like you have to like unnecessarily pay the interest. It has its pros and cons. So the
So, like,
pros are
one
that
thing I want to interrupt, like the loan, do you take in from Indian bank or you go to the US bank only? Like, loan from where to take the loan?
yeah. So you if you're applying for from India, you have to take the loans from the Indian banks. I mean, you cannot take the loans from the US banks because you have no record there. You
Okay,
have no
okay.
account, nothing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you have to take the loans from your Indian banks. The Indian banks, they provide the loans for higher education, the education loans and
Yeah, yeah.
everything. So one of the famous ones, few of the famous ones are like HDFC, SBI, Punjab National Bank, UCO Bank, all these banks. So I was planning to take the complete amount from HDFC, but again, yeah, and all these banks for these education loans, they do charge an heavy amount of interest, like at least 9 to 10% minimum to about 13-14%. So yes, that becomes a part. That was one of the
Like,
reasons why
is
I
it
didn't
like
take the loan.
specifically for the US or it's like in general, like the education loan is like interest rate is this much
No,
only?
these banks, they have particular loans for study abroad programs.
Okay,
So
okay,
for them, this is the reason. This is the thing. But if you take for studies in India, I guess it is not that much.
okay,
I
okay.
guess, yeah. So yes, that is one of the reasons why I didn't go for complete loan amount. loan amount. Sorry. So because you need to pay the interest, like quite an heavy amount. So I would suggest that if you can afford, uh, take the take some part loan and some part
Some
of
part, yeah,
your.
that would be recommended, right? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. But many of my friends, they take the whole amount of loan. Even like if they can afford, they do that just to like stay clear of every like problems or
Because
something.
like they
Problem.
know they will be able to pay off anyways. Like,
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's completely depends. But
yeah.
this is how I thought, and that is how I went ahead with that.
Okay. So after that, like you got your I-20 and like you showed them your statement and stuff, and then just pack your bags and go to US.
No, no.
Okay.
Then comes one of the major parts, which is your visa.
Okay.
So yes, so you getting your admit is probably say half the way, and still half the way is your visa. Because unless you get your visa approved, nothing will happen. You cannot travel to the US or US or like in anywhere abroad if you where you want to go. So once you have your I-20, you have your fundings, then you have your funding sorted, then you have to apply for your visa. So for US, yeah, I can speak because I'm not sure what visas are there for other countries, but for US, you have to apply for your F1 visa, which is the student visa, and for F1 you need to apply first, and then there are multiple processes you need to go through. One is multiple forms you need to fill up, multiple fees you need to pay, and those are also quite an amount. So yes, this going for masters is quite an expensive
Like,
amount.
yeah,
It's just
if
a
someone,
process
yeah,
to go
chooses to
through.
go for masters, he should have the like financial backup and stuff,
Exactly,
knowledge.
exactly. At least to start things off.
Yeah.
So yes, you need to have your DS 160. There is something known as DS 160 which you need to fill up, and you need to pay a certain fees for that. And then you need to no, sorry, for DS 160 you do not need to pay any fees. You have the service which you need to. That is a service fee. That is one time. Like it ensures that you are approved to land in the US soil. So that is what it ensures. So that fee is there. And then you have the final visa registration fees. So you submit your DS 160, you submit your service, and once you have done all these, you will get a certain number using which you can apply for your visa, F1 visa through the visa portal. So, and okay, this is one part. The next part is getting slots for your F1 visa. That is a very tedious process.
I think
So
now it become more difficult. I think ever than
now
before. Now.
it is now it is more difficult. I mean, as the years are moving ahead, it's getting difficult and difficult. So my batch was COVID end. So there were pros and cons for that. Pros were that universities were taking admits because they could not get much admits during the COVID times. But the cons were strong. The cons were stronger because the competition was way higher. Like when I was watching videos and all for that year, like 2022, like many of the YouTubers, they were just saying that it is this application process is like the mother of all application processes because the competition was so high that year.
Why was it
Because
so
just
high? Like,
yeah, the COVID, it was 2022. The COVID phase had almost like ended, and people
okay.
were starting to travel. I mean, even the students who had thought of applying earlier, but they could not because of COVID scenario, all of them are applying this year also. So yeah, that and also I guess it recorded the highest number of like 80,000 or something visas, F1 visas, just for that fall. So yeah, and it's increasing every year. So that's what. And yeah, so for the visa slots, once you have paid all the fees, etc., and then you have to keep checking the websites. I mean the visa slot website to see when you get a slot. There are 5 places for where you can do your visas in whole India. I guess it is, of course, it's Calcutta, it is Chennai, there is Hyderabad, Delhi, and Mumbai. Yes, 5 places only where
Okay.
there are visa centers. So in these places, you need to book your slot. There will be two slots you need to book. One is for your verification, and one is for your interview. So you need to have two slots which you need to book. So that whole booking process is another thing. So yeah, you need to book. If I
Yeah, that is the, let's say, yeah, that is another process. So yeah. Then after that you book your, then it takes some time, is it, to get the results and like did they approve or not?
yeah, no. So getting the visa slots. Once you have gotten the visa slots, then you're pretty much like your most of it is done.
Okay.
Okay, now when you have the verification days, it's like you need to just submit your DS-160. They will take photos, etc., finger imprints, etc. And then when your visa interview date is there, you need to have all your documents, your I-20 mark sheet, everything. Like the visa officer can ask anything from you. You need to have. I mean, that is a separate section. I won't go into that. Like how is the
Yeah.
visa interview process done? But if you're approved, they immediately say that you are approved. And they keep your passport, and they will say that to collect your passport sometime later. So yes, once you are approved, then it's done.
Pretty much
Yeah.
ready to pack your bags.
Yes. And yeah, another thing is that you need to book your flight tickets. So I would suggest that uh, people suggest not to book the flight tickets before your visas are done. You is approved, but I would say that it's a gamble you should take, because the later you go, and the nearer you go towards your travel, the higher the flight tickets become. So I had booked the flight tickets before my visa interview. So it's a gamble. I think it's worth taking it, because the rates increase a lot. Like maybe you if you get your visa slots and get done with it like 2.5 months before your travel, it's well and good. But many of the times it doesn't happen. Maybe say you're traveling in August 15th or 20th, and you get your visas done, approved in beginning of August or end of July.
So
So
you
you
will get
book your
only one slot, right? Like you get only one slot, and to that slot, if they like approve you, it's done, or else reject you, then it's you can't take another slot.
uh, in rejects also there are multiple ways of rejection. So based on that, you can apply again or not
Okay, okay.
apply. So yeah, that's a different thing.
Different.
Visa
Okay, okay,
part is a different thing.
okay.
But considering you have applied, applied once, you got approved.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you have then if you get your tickets after you get your visa approved, maybe you have very short time in between your travel, because your coursework won't wait, right? It will start. So you need to have at least 3 to 4 days or a week before your course, or 3 to 4 days at least before your coursework starts. So, for example, mine started in 24th of August, and I was there in 20 there on 22nd, and I had to keep my apartments booked, and I had booked my flight tickets also before my visa. So it was worth it, because I got it comparatively in a cheaper price.
Okay, generally, like I'm really curious, how much does it take to go from here to the US or like return trip in general?
Okay, yeah. So that again depends on the timing.
Time. Okay.
So
Let's
there are
say it's
two
a
things.
normal time without any rush and holidays, so just in normal.
Without any rush, you can get flight tickets maybe around. It ranges from like 70,000, 70,000 to 1 lakh, 1.5 in normal times. 70,000, yeah. But again, it depends on different airways also. If you go with the proper ones in the sense the ones which generally people take, like Qatar Airways, Etihad, Emirates, etc. There, even in normal times, it's like around 70,000 or something. But if you take some other ones which do not have that great of a service, and maybe not no food and all, you can go down to around 50, 60,000 also. So yeah, in normal times, like not peak rush times. In rush times, it goes up to mere like December vacation, and then your fall coursework start time. These times it goes up to 2 lakhs as you go nearer to the dates. Like if you have very short interval between your tickets and your travel, it goes up to 2 lakhs, 150. Yeah.
Okay, so then you went there. So before going there, did you did your professor told you to something study something, or directly went there like on the red-handed
Okay.
answer?
If you're doing a master's, you won't have any like faculty advisor or something like that. I personally, I I was like off from this domain for some years left now. By the time I applied, like at least 3 years, I was working in a different domain. So even then, I tried to stay in touch with things like I did few courses in device physics and semiconductor devices during my work period, so that I could like stay at least some updated or at least stay in
Like
the touch.
through different website, is it
Yeah.
course you have studied?
I preferred my courses from EDX. There is a website
So, yeah,
EDX.
Harvard.
Yes, they have tie-ups with the top universities. Even Coursera has that, but EDX, their courses are very nice, and you get like university stamped and signed certificates once you complete those. So I preferred EDX. So even considering like if you're completely working in a different domain, or if you have lost touch of it, I would say that uh, whichever domain you're coming for, you have to be sure which domain you're coming for, like which you want to focus in, because there are multiple students. Like I would say many of the students, they come here and they are not sure of which domain they want to be.
Like after
So
choosing that domain, they are not sure if they want to continue with that domain or not. Like,
yeah, so
so
I will come to the domain part in some time. But yeah, you should once you are fixed, you should at least maybe, for example, if you want to stay in the analog domain, I think it will be helpful for you if you just stay brushed up with your basic electronics and stuff. Even if you're not, the professors are good enough; they will help you out anytime. Initially, you might get flustered or like overwhelmed by whatever is being taught, because the way of teaching and the curriculum is quite different here.
that we will come
So
to it. Yeah. Come,
yeah, we'll come to that. But
come.
yeah, you need to invest some time. If you have completely like been off touch, you need to invest considerable amount of time to get in touch with things. But once you are there, you are in the flow, it's good enough. It's good.
So most of them are available online. Whatever you need to study, most of them are you can study through
Absolutely,
EDX
absolutely.
and stuff. Okay. Okay, that is
And
fine. So we will talk about after you go, after you go there, we'll talk about the letter. First, we want to talk about uh, the letter of recommendation and the SOP,
yeah,
right? Statement of
mhm.
purpose. Those
I
things we want to
was
talk about.
planning to
So
go towards that. So yeah, statement of purpose is one of the main aspects of your application, I would say. So what is a statement of purpose? Statement of purpose is basically an essay in which you mention why you want to join that particular university, what what uh, what experiences you had earlier, what experiences you want to have in future, that makes you want to go to that university particularly. So you need to add, I mean, it's suggested you add like what experiences you had earlier, and what made you think that okay, I want to be in this industry, or I want to be in this domain, I want to study these topics. So once you have said that, it should be like a flow. You start with what experiences you had earlier that made you stay in this domain,
and
or
then
if you went
what are
off
your
domain.
future plans and stuff? Like
Yeah, or if you went off domain, what made you come back to this domain? Then you should state like what things in the university will help you achieve what you want to be in the future. So it's like a complete flow. That is why for the statement of purpose, you need to invest a considerable amount of time. You cannot like, okay, I have a week in hand for my applications, I will sit down and write my statement of purpose. You need to do multiple edits and formattings. Like you write a page once, then after some day you will feel like, okay, I need to add this, I need to remove this, you reframe. So this is like a complete continuous process. You need to edit, 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 and finally you will come up with a final copy. And again, different universities have different lengths of statement of purposes. Some statement of purposes have, they will mention that you need to have only 500 words. Some have, like my university, UF, had 500 words. University of California at Los Angeles had 500 words. So that is one of the factors you need to change as per the application. That you will get to know once you are applying, going through the application process. And yes, and you need to see every university which researcher you want to, you need to mention some professors, some research works you're interested in, some things you have done, everything. And so yeah, this
So
this
like
is how you should.
whatever you have done and few courses you have done, that also you can mention there. Like
Yeah, but of course you should stick with just one page. Yeah,
okay.
in Word you should stick with one page, I would say. Yeah, if nothing is mentioned.
And like this was about the statement of purpose. So, like
Yes.
for the letter of recommendation, like what is
Yeah, for the letter of recommendation, if you are going direct from your undergrad to your masters, it's easy to get the recommendations from your professors who have like relevant, who are in the it it's nothing mentioned officially that you have to have the LORs from your professors who have got you recommended to, I mean, respective particular courses which you want to study in your MS2. But it is, I feel that it helps if you, like for example, if you are going to be in the analog domain, and you're getting your recommendation from a professor who is probably, I would say, in some other domain, I would say it is, I feel that it might have some cons which I'm not sure of. So try to have the professors who have taught you, or who were your mentors, or who was your project guide, or maybe your dean of your department, or associate dean, or something like that. Try to get it from them. Yeah,
okay. So
and
when
generally
yeah
you need to have like 3 LORs for every
okay
application.
three
Yeah.
okay it's like same for all of the universities.
Yeah, it is more or less three is what you need.
Okay, so and like when you go for a master's over there, you work under some professor or like you work independently and stuff.
Okay, so yeah, masters here is, I don't know how it is, how M.tech is in India, but here there are multiple things which you can do. So once you come here, there is two options. There is masters with thesis and masters with non-thesis. So masters with thesis, you will have a faculty advisor with whom you will be working. You need to prepare reports and publish papers and do researches with him. And if you're doing non-thesis, only then you can take part in the internships. If you're doing masters with thesis, you cannot take part in internships, like summer internships or any internships. Only if you're doing your non-thesis program, you can take part in the internships. So yeah, if you're doing non-thesis, there is no professor with whom you'll be working, but you can. There are multiple things, like there are assistantships which you can have, like research assistantships or teaching assistantships. If you're doing research assistantship with some professor, then you will be definitely working with some professor in his or her lab. So yeah, this is how different options. There are some voluntary options which you can do. Maybe the professor is not able to fund at that time, but you really like to work with him or her, or you like the work. Maybe that person will allow you to work voluntarily without any pay. And there is something known as OPS, where you get paid, but it is not exactly an assistantship. There are like lots of things which goes around. So you will get to know once you come here. So yeah, it's very flexible.
Okay. Okay. So like you studied like you did your undergrad in India and you are now doing your masters in the US. So what is the difference you feel from there to here? Like what are the pros there? What are the pros here? Like
Yeah. So I don't know how M.tech is in India. So I will not be able to do like apples to apples comparison. I can compare my bachelor's with my master's here, but even I can compare my bachelor's there and the bachelor's with students and few of my
yeah,
friends do here.
yeah.
So that would be a good comparison. But in general, I feel that the coursework here is way more flexible than what we have in India. In India, at least from where I did my undergrad, it was like fixed courses which I have to take every semester, and even like if I want to be in a particular domain or I don't want, I have to take those courses. But here, there are multiple flexibilities. You can do researches, you can take part in labs, you can drop a semester, not study. You can just focus on research work. Then you can take up some courses next semester. Only take courses which you want. There is something known as breadth and depth courses. So there are like these, like there are many optionals which you can have. That you can take courses from other departments which you might be liking. So yeah, that there's a lot of flexibility here which I didn't find in India.
So, like, does it affect your placements and stuff? Like, whatever courses you choose, you get placement according to that, or like, is it different?
Absolutely. Like the placements here, the recruiters generally, they, for example, if you want to be in the analog design or something like the digital design, whatever, and if you want to be, for example, in the analog design domain in industry, and you have taken up courseworks like analog design, IC design one, advanced IC design, then semic device physics courses, and also power, I mean power converters, etc. And compared to someone who wants to apply for analog design but have has taken up like Verilog based courses, like, or other maybe reconfigurable computing and all these things which are not completely like analog design based. Of course, the person who has taken these courses of IC design, they will be much preferred. So you need to, that's what I mentioned in the beginning, that you need to be clear of what you want to do and take up the courses as per that. If you had done with those courses, like the courses that the university can offer in your domain, then out of interest you want to do something else, you can of course do. But if your placements are in mind, I would say you should definitely go for courses that will help you in your placements, I mean in your
Obvious.
domain.
So you should research before, like, the MS thing in what you want to
Yeah,
do MS.
yeah,
That you should obviously do at first. Then only you decide all these things. So that should be your
absolutely.
first priority.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
like the courses are mostly similar in all the colleges, or like they are totally different. Like,
It is kind of similar. What happens is that at some university, maybe a professor is on sabbatical or something, and he or she cannot teach that course that time. But it is being taught in other university. That might happen, but generally, it is quite similar.
okay.
Yeah.
And how is the like teaching there? Like, is it like everyone sits with laptops and stuff and the
Yeah,
teachers there,
yeah.
or
You
like?
can like to the point. You can you can sit in the lectures with while drinking coffee and all. You can bring your
So is
laptop
there
and
any
sit.
like attendance thing, or like you can watch it
There
online
is
also?
there is no attendance. No one will run after you for attendance or tell you to study. Whatever you need to do, you have to do yourself. If you
Okay,
don't want, then it is only you who will suffer. That's it.
okay,
There
okay,
is
yeah.
nothing for the professors, because they will deliver the lectures to the best of their possible their knowledge and their ability. They will help you with after hours. They will help you with research. They will help you how much ever you want. But ultimately, you have to do it yourself.
Like obviously you have to have that wish, right? You have to go and study and stuff. So you have to take that help. They will give you, but you have to also take that help from them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So like I think you have done, like, it's been 1 year like of your MS. Is it? So you, in between that, you also did your internship. So you can talk about your internships also, like what you did and what are you currently doing.